Mm. What up, everybody? How's it going? YouTube Live. Woo! We just had the Emmys 2020 happening this evening. It just got done, so I got a few thoughts about it. I want to share my thoughts with you because this is we had, I think, country music awards, and I think we had some other award shows that happened also during this pandemic not too long ago. But as far as you and I are concerned, because we are fans of movies and TV, this is like probably the big first thing in this pandemic, and we were like curious, right? We were like thinking like, how are they gonna pull this off? I mean, it's everybody's at home. You can't be in a stadium all together. How are you gonna do this? And by June, I thought for sure that they were gonna cancel the Emmys. I thought we're gonna get like a press release from the TV Academy saying, sorry, we're gonna postpone it till next year. But they went ahead with it, and everybody was like, how? And guess what? They pulled it off this evening, and I think they pulled it off in a really they really did it great. This is probably this could be the blueprint for how the Oscar ceremony for next year is gonna look like. The Oscars, I think, has been pushed back to, I think, April 2021. It's usually in February or early March, but now it's been pushed to April. The hope or the anticipation is that maybe there's gonna be a vaccine, by the end of this year or early next year, because then we won't have to do a virtual Oscar ceremony. But when that was announced too, I was like, how are we gonna do this? It's so weird. People are at home, and the Emmy showed us this evening how that can be done, and they did a good job. I gotta hand it to them. Real quick here, let me get to my email real quick. Oh, I want to show you some tweets too, reactions. Make sure the TV's up. I'm gonna be listening to my voice here for a second. People are at home. Yeah. And the Emmy. That sounds weird. Okay, so what they did was the TV Academy, they send out people, workers, to remote locations where the nominees are, like literally. And they wear hazmat suits. And each of them would be like, because one category would have 6 nominees, right? Or 7 nominees. It's random, unlike the Oscars that always keeps it usually at 5, unless it's best picture. So these are a lot of people we're talking about. They deploy a lot of workers in hazmat suits, and they actually produce a lot of actual Emmy statuettes. So they would come to their homes, the nominees' homes, or wherever the nominees are. Sometimes they would have their little parties as well, and they would stand by. And so if the nominee, whoever the hazmat suit person is standing by with, if that nominee does not win, so it's like, sorry, I'm not gonna hand this statuette to you. I'm gonna leave now. So then the hazmat suit will leave after the guy or the girl loses. So that's the format. I kid you not. It's like so crazy. That's a lot of manpower. But let me show you this tweet by Rami Youssef. Rami is the star of Rami, Hulu show, and he lost, unfortunately, tonight. But of course, Rami is a cool guy, and he didn't take it, all that bad. It's like, whatever. I didn't get an Emmy. That's fine. I'm gonna make Rami season 3 for you guys. So here it is. Did you guys see this? Let me make it big for you guys here. Oh my. So they left. after it was announced that Rami did not win, and then the hazmat suit person left with the Emmy, so wow, that's a lot of Emmys that they deployed this evening. I kid you not. So the Oscars next year could be done in the same way, the same format. I know you might be asking, like, man, they're gonna have to produce a lot of Oscar statuettes just for that. Yeah, what they're gonna do. And if you think, like, if you're wondering, like, but Rama, these statuettes, don't they have the names and the categories, ingrained on them? Well, that actually can be done after. So Oscars and Emmys, they would have that space underneath on the bottom, and whoever won, and then would later on would get their names and the category ingrained or placed on that at the bottom of that award. So that could be done later on. So, but the downside of producing so many Oscar statuettes, and going to the homes like that with hazmat suit person is that, you never know, right? Because in the past, you've heard stories about how Oscars got stolen. I think it was a few years ago, Frances McDormand's Oscar got lost or got taken by somebody or somewhere, like, and then there's a story about an Oscar that ends up in a dumpster somewhere. Just like, I think the Oscars is the king daddy of trophies, right? The king daddy of awards. So you have to be really, really careful and very, very selective about who you entrust as far as the hazmat suits people go, to actually, handle the Oscar statuettes. You got to make sure that they are trustworthy, because you never know, they might end up in a pawn shop. You know what I'm saying? So, but wow. Another thing also that I have on my note here is that the advantage of doing the Emmys this evening virtually, it made the ceremony seem, or at least it felt faster. It's more streamlined, because there was no moment of the winner walking all the way up to the stage, from their seats in the back of the stadium. Nothing like that. There's no orchestral trying to play them off when they speak too long. It went smoothly, like one after the next, and then of course they have to cut down the number of presenters, and that also contributes to the show, being kept at 3 hours, nothing more than that. I think it was great. I think it was fantastic. So if there's no vaccine by the end of this year, and that the Oscars has to do it virtually in April, then they definitely could copy this format. And the Emmy was showing them that this is how it's done, safely, and still you keep the celebration. Everybody's still happy, joyful. So I just want to put it out there, saying, I gotta be honest with you, I still am not 100% sold on the idea that the Oscars has to go this way. If the Oscars has to go this way, then so be it, right? I'm not gonna be a crybaby about it. But I still am. Part of me is still hoping that we have vaccines or some kind of cure, that by spring of next year we will have that by spring of next year we'll be able to go back to normal again. Because I still want. Come on. Again, I think I've emphasized this point before. If the COVID pandemic had happened, the shutdown, the lockdown had happened in February earlier this year, February. Man, it would not have been good because the whole celebration of Parasite winning Best Picture, making history, as the first Asian movie, first foreign language movie to win. But could you imagine how much of a bummer it would have been if it had been done virtually? I'm just saying that I still prefer in person, on stage, in auditorium celebration of Oscars. I still prefer that, and I'm still hoping, because man, I'm so glad that we had that Parasite moment. Maybe some people would tell me, Rama, I think if the lockdown had happened earlier in January and February, maybe we would, as a country, as a world, we would have been better off right now during the pandemic. And I don't argue that. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad. I know that this might be sounding like a bad guy, but I'm kind of glad it happened in March instead of February because, man, that Parasite moment, I would not have replaced that for anything in the world. So I want the Oscars to have that kind of moment again. If it has to come down to the format that the Emmys had this evening, fine. I won't be grudging about it. But I'm still hoping that we won't have to go through that. But the Emmys, fantastic show. Jimmy Kimmel, not his best hosting gig. Some of the comedy and the jokes that he spewed tonight, some of them fell flat, I should say. But I think in the past, when he hosted the Emmys in the past, he had better performances than he did this evening. But other than that, I did not have any objection or any complaints whatsoever. So there you go. I just want to give you my thoughts about this whole format. Fantastic. They pull it off. So share your thoughts about what you thought about the Emmys tonight with the virtual thing and the whole sending out a hazmat suit people going to people's homes. And would you like that to be the way that Oscars 2021 would do it as well? So let me know. Share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let's rock this.